What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Good evening, everybody. I am Love Coach Scott Katamas with sunlight coming through and welcoming you to the Saturday night edition of the Awakening World. And it's going to be a really fun show. We've got some extraordinary leaders who are joining us. And what I'm especially excited about is one of my all-time favorite co-hosts is with me tonight. And that is the wonderful, I like to call her Rev Deb, Reverend Deborah Moldow. Welcome, Rev Deb.
Oh, it's wonderful to be back with you, Scott, and Omashar, and the Global Peace Tribe.
And it's all about the Holomovement. And we're going to be hearing all about the Holomovement and your amazing time in Ibiza. Before we're going to hear all about the Holomovement in Ibiza, but tell us something fun about just what it was like being in Ibiza.
Well, first of all, they could not have picked a more beautiful spot to hold this gathering. I mean, we did a gathering last year in Sedona, and that was super special to be in that incredible energy and the great beauty that is Sedona. But Ibiza, oh my God. Everybody I told I was going to Ibiza, on a trip for work, they were like, oh, put me in your suitcase. Yeah, it's such a special spot. And it's known over the last few decades as a party island, but it's so much more than that. It's historic. It's surrounded by clean, beautiful waters of the Mediterranean, and the climate was perfect. And the hotel that Emmanuel and Laura, whom we'll be talking to later, the hotel they chose was right on the water, and we were just so beautifully taken care of that it was an ideal spot to bring together 200 people who all had the same dream of working together for a better world. So we'll talk about that tonight.
Wow. Well, a lot of us are going to have some FOMO. I know I had some fear of missing out, but that's why on the Awakening World, we kind of get the chance to see what we missed and to hear highlights and learn more about the Holomovement and about how we all can participate. And I know I see a lot of leaders, a lot of people that are part of our really, they've got several evolutionary leaders that are with us tonight. But we always have to have music, and we are blessed with our beloved Omashar. Now, I have to say, I was a little bit dense. He had to explain his backdrop to me. So for anybody who doesn't quite pick up the connection to the Holomovement, Omashar, share with us the genius of your backdrop.
Let's just stop at the genius, shall we? So namaste, everybody, and welcome to the Awakening World. And I'm full of not hope, kind of all. There's something more than hope and excitement about the Hollow movement, because it's a profound movement. And when I was advertising it today on Facebook, I put in the rise of the Hollow movement, because that's what's happening. And this backdrop I picked because each of these droplets is one person with an idea, and these ideas ripple out and they touch other people with other ideas, and they bring together the ideas that are the same, and they just ripple out and out and out and out. So this is the backdrop I have, is my interpretation of what I feel the Hollow movement is for me, and we're all connecting and all joining together. And I guess that's it. I could have brought in Dr. Emoto here, channeled him, and but yes, it is. You know, every thought, every heart-centered, creative impulse that we have sends a ripple out, and if we can find other like-minded beings and join together, we create a massive ripple, and it affects everybody. And it's subtle, but it does. It's just there, and it is being measured now by people like Bruce Lipton and people like that. The effect that we have, and Global Coherence Pulse, and all of that. We are doing it. And it's small, and there may be only a small group of several thousand of us doing it, but that's enough to tip the edge. And so there we are.
Beautiful. Well, I certainly love that vision. I want to acknowledge all the beautiful drops of water that are with us. And turn on your cameras, get ready to move and groove to the music, because it is time for Omishar's first song of the night.
What if we could find a way to wipe away all tears and fears, all broken hearts, to clear the way for a brand new start? Now that we see and know the way to lift our day and shine the light for all to see, the way back home and the way to be free. Let our love lead the way. Let the light shine through all. Let our hearts and minds be free. As we rise up from the fall, there is a way to see again, to be again, to know the truth and smile again. With an open heart we feel safe again. And now that we're free and we see that the way is to let our love show us a new way to be, and we relish the chance to be part of the dance that will recreate the world anew. What if we could find a way to wipe away all tears and fears,
Let's all twinkle our beloved Omar Shar. What a wonderful way to get started. And thank you, everybody, for moving and grooving to the music.
It is, and it's kind of interesting because I was watching us dancing, and then Connie brought up the animal, and I started to chuckle inside myself. I had to look away, and thank you, Connie. The koala, excuse me.
Still carrying the Australia. And Dana brought up, she was inspired by your water. So Dana is kind of matching you there a little bit.
Lovely.
All right. Well, we will have probably 2 more Omar Shar songs tonight. So thank you, brother. Thanks for getting us off to a great start. We are going to be primarily playing videos of our great speakers tonight because they're all still in Ibiza.
Well, they were all smart enough to stay in Europe and go to beautiful places afterwards. And I came right home to Mexico. So here I am with you.
But we are going to honor a couple of dear friends that are with us, including Bob Atkinson. And Bob just got, he's here to help us celebrate a wonderful award for Light on Light. Welcome back to the show, Bob. You've been on a few times. Tell us about the award that you won.
You know, before Bob says anything about the award, I just want to say something about Light on Light Press, because they have been putting out all kinds of inspiring books, many of them by members of our Evolutionary Leaders Circle. And it's a very special operation. They are not in it to make any money. They're doing this out of the goodness of their heart. And Bob Atkinson and Kurt Johnson, who's also been on this show many times, are putting their enormous skills to work here to bring forward these books in a world that's not particularly book friendly anymore. So it's a real service to humanity. And I'm so glad that Light on Light has been honored with these Nautilus Awards, these Gold Nautilus Awards this year. So Bob, tell us about them.
Thanks so much, Deborah. And, you know, it all started with you and Kurt and I co-editing Our Moment of Choice. And I'll come back to that in a second, but it's great to be here with you all in this this mini reunion of the Ibiza Holomovement wave. It was really a pleasure for me to represent Light on Light Press, one of the sponsors of the event at the Holomovement. And as everyone can imagine, it's been a real delight working with the indomitable master connector, Kurt Johnson, in getting Light on Light Press off the ground over the past few years. And after Deborah, Kurt, and I co-edited Our Moment of Choice, the Evolutionary Leaders Anthology, which was another Gold Nautilus Book Award winner, Kurt then knew exactly what he wanted to do in creating a new interspiritual imprint. And with Kurt's longtime expertise in coordinating many networks, Light on Light Press really took off. In its first 3 years, Light on Light Press attracted authors whose books won 3 Nautilus Book Awards. And now, in its 4th year, it's truly remarkable for a new small publisher to win if you can, well, okay, I'll go ahead. It's really remarkable for a new small publisher to win 3 Gold Nautilus Book Awards for 2 books in 1 year. And that's what just happened with the 2 Irvin Laszlo books that we did this year. So working with the legendary systems thinker, Irvin Laszlo, on these 2 books has really been an honor. Now we have the covers. That's the first winner, The Great Upshift, which is the anthology that includes 36 other mostly evolutionary leader contributors to that. And as you can read from the title, that book is really out there to solve the crises of our time. And the other book that won the gold medal is the survival imperative. Here it is with the gold seal on it already. And this is really this one really highlights Irvin Laszlo's lifetime of systems thinking, with his latest inspirations on how to get out of the crises we're in. So these two books were really remarkable to come out in the same year and to win the Gold Nautilus Award at the same time. So it's been a real pleasure working with Kurt and all the authors, especially Irvin, who won these two Gold Nautilus Awards. And of course, that coming back to the topic of the night, Light on Light Press is also the proud publisher of the Holomovement book. And that's another groundbreaking, one-of-a-kind anthology that provides a cutting-edge vision and application of the many ways we can understand how all things in the universe interact, relate, and interconnect with each other in this vast wholeness in motion. That's the one that the three of us did in 2020, a moment of choice.
And of course, we've highlighted this show before. We're going to want to encourage everybody tonight. If you haven't already gotten our moment of choice, please do so now. I'll put the link into the chat box. And for all of you who are watching on Facebook, you can find it on Amazon, and we'll show that as well a little bit later on in the show. And also, just
put the link in the chat already for our moment of choice. Maybe we can find the Holomovement book link too.
That's definitely something we'll want to do tonight, for sure. For sure. And finally, let's take a look at Light on Light Press. And again, most of the people watching the show are not in our chat box, in our Zoom room. They're going to be watching the replay, or they're watching live on Facebook. So to learn more about Light on Light, which is an amazing publication, go to lightonlight.us, lightonlight.us. And so you can learn all about Light on Light Press. And there are the people we're talking about: Kurt Johnson, there's Bob Atkinson. And actually this Wednesday night, we're doing Authors That We Love on Awakening World, and Ariel Patricia, who you're seeing here, is providing one of her authors. So this is a wonderful website where you can really learn a lot. There's our moment of choice. There's Bob's book, The Story of Our Time. We highlighted that a while back on the Awakening World. And that's where you can learn about really some of the most important books and publications, including the Light on Light magazine. So, Bob, congratulations on your Nautilus Award. I didn't mean to throw you off when I actually pulled the Nautilus Award up, but I'm going to show it one more time. There it is. It's a pretty cool looking award. And so congratulations. And thank you. You know, it's a lot of work to create these books and to do all that you're doing. And so congratulations. And we wanted to start the show tonight by celebrating you and acknowledging once again our friends at Light on Light Press.
Thanks, Scott.
Great work.
Seeing you again on the show soon, Bob.
Okay, great.
And you know, since you're here, do you have one highlight from Ibiza that you can share, since you were in Ibiza and that's what we're talking about tonight?
Well, yeah, that's a tough one. That's like your favorite child or something. But well, I mean, I'll just maybe keep it somewhat personal for a minute on that because I had the pleasure of having an essay that I wrote about the Holomovement included in the welcome bag that everybody got at Ibiza. And it was an essay about the Holomovement as the embodiment of sacred unity. And so that's, I could say a little bit about that, but it was a different perspective on the Holomovement from David Bohm's quantum physics perspective. I took a sort of a holistic spiritual perspective and looked at the two orders that he built the Holomovement on. I call them the changeless order and the changing order. And they're like parallel riverbeds that are really meant to reunite with each other. And that's what today's Holomovement and the real movement that it's creating is about, is helping humanity to reunite those two riverbeds so that we'll end up with a unitive reality once again, as it was in the beginning.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
And that's really at the heart of Light on Light Press as well, is the coming together of the impulses of spirituality and science. So you could almost see those two as the implicate and the explicate order as well. And thank you for your pamphlet in our little bags that we got in Ibiza, because I'm sure we all read it on our planes on the way home. I know I did. So thank you, Bob, for putting it into very clear and understandable language. Really appreciated it.
Thanks a lot for being on the show, Bob. We'll see you again soon.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, we are going to get to a video that we shot a couple days ago, and it was really, really fun. And since we do the introductions in the video, actually, I'm just going to go right to it. And this is with our good friends, Laura and Emmanuel, who are kind of been shepherding the Holomovement all the way. And you're going to see a lot of Rev Deb as well. So let me...
A truly amazing Emmanuel Kunzelman. He has been at the heart of this movement and really brought it forth in powerful ways. And his beautiful wife, Laura Rose, who did an incredible job putting together this event in Ibiza last week.
All right, well, let's hear what they have to say, along with you, Rev Deb. So we're doing a really fun Global Peace Tribe pre-record right now. I'm with Rev Deb, who of course is with us live, but she's also right in this moment doing this pre-record from her home in Mexico. And we've got Laura and Emmanuel, who have been shepherding the Holomovement from the very, very beginning. So I'm going to turn it over to Rev Deb to introduce Laura and Emmanuel and ask some key questions.
Thank you, Scott. It's such a pleasure to be doing this program about the Holomovement, since we just came off of this marvelous gathering called the Ibiza Wave in Spain, and Emmanuel and Laura are still there soaking up the wonderful frequencies of Ibiza. And these are two extraordinary people. They've been doing such beautiful work through the organizations that they've founded, Green Heart and Purpose Earth. And this dream of the Holomovement has really come through them, in addition to all the people, all the extraordinary people that they've brought on board to help manifest it. And as many of you know, we did an event together last year in Sedona to ignite the Holomovement, and Scott, you were there for that one. And this year's event just concluded in Ibiza, Spain, which is a magical place already, and it's even more magical now that it has the Holomovement vibe permeating it. So I'd like to start with Emmanuel. He is, what is the title that you like to use now, Emmanuel? The visioneer of the Holomovement. That's
Sounds
it.
good.
That's it. So a lot of people who are with us this evening know about the Holomovement, but there are probably a lot of people also who are hearing about it for the first time. So can you give us a little bit of a refresher as to what the vision for the Holomovement is?
Yes, I'd be happy to do that. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you, Scott. It's a pleasure to be here, and very grateful for the opportunity to share the news about the Holomovement with your audience. The Holomovement is a term that was originally coined by American physicist David Bohm in his book that was published in 1980 called Wholeness in the Implicate Order. And Bohm was a firm believer in the oneness of everything. And certainly the physicist who promoted the idea of a non-dual reality. Bohm explained that obviously some things look very separate and different, and certainly the consciousness we're using for this discussion today seems quite distinct from the tables in front of us and the physical objects around us. But Bohm said it is all one, and it's all together. He called the source consciousness that gave rise to the universe the implicate order, and the manifest reality that we see before our eyes as the explicate order. But, he said, they are all woven together by an unbroken wholeness, and that weaving of the implicate and explicate he called the Holomovement. When I first came across that term back in the 1980s, I was already on a quest to help facilitate a coming together of humanity, a sharing of resources and ideas in any way possible to address the needs and challenges of our society today. And I'd always been looking for the most appropriate term to describe this unbounded flowing oneness of humanity. So when I came across David Bohm's term, I said, aha, that's it. It took me another few decades to really make all of that coalesce and be ready to launch or ignite the Holomovement as we did last year, Deborah, in Sedona together. But the term comes from that, and it signifies the weaving together of implicate and explicate into oneness. And the idea now is to apply this term, which it really comes from quantum physics and has recently been validated by the Nobel Prize for Physics in 2022, was given to three physicists who really spent their lives validating Bohm's theory of physics, which requires the concept of non-locality, the instantaneous connectedness of everything in the universe beyond the speed of light, beyond space and time. When Bohm first proposed that theory in 1952, his colleague Albert Einstein was a bit skeptical, having proposed his theory of relativity that was widely accepted. But again, Einstein didn't think anything could travel beyond the speed of light. And Bohm's theory says, yes, indeed, it's all instantaneously connected in a vast web of oneness. Today, due to this recent Nobel Prize for Physics, 70 years later, Bohm's theory is now being widely accepted in the world of physics. But as I said, this is also an application beyond physics, and in this sense, more of a sociological branding for a movement of movements that unites all the good work and moving forward of so many organizations and entities today to really take on the issues endangering our species and our civilization today, and trying to find solutions to these challenges. And Bohm himself was very interested in the sociological context of this as well. And in his later life, he had lengthy dialogues with Krishnamurti, and they discussed the nature of consciousness in depth. He was also a good friend of the Dalai Lama. The Dalai Lama referred to David Bohm as his scientific guru, and Bohm himself developed and wrote books on creativity and dialogue to find a way for people to really come together, talk about this, and find common ground in resolving the challenges we face. So we're quite sure that Bohm himself would approve of the Holomovement name as a branding for the sociological movement around the world today, to bring us together as one, to act in community, and to resolve our conflicts and move forward as one human family. So that's a little bit of the background and the meaning of the Holomovement.
Wow, it's beautiful, especially the coming together of science and spirit, which is so important these days. I know that the Holomovement feels like a spiritual impulse to all of us in this time of terrible division on our planet. And so when you speak about our inherent unbroken wholeness and the vast web of unbounded flowing oneness, this is what can inspire us to really come together as one humanity on this planet, trying to make things better for everyone and all life. So this is a wonderful impulse. And I know that you've explained this at greater depth in the book that came out last year, right? When did the Holomovement, Embracing Our Collective Purpose to Unite Humanity, when did that come? When was that published?
Yes, we published an anthology, which just happened to have a copy of it right here, coincidentally, synchronistically enough, the Holomovement, Embracing Our Collective Purpose to Unite Humanity. And that was published last year and launched in conjunction with Igniting the Holomovement in Sedona. So both that
right,
conference.
That's right. We saw it there for the first time.
March 23rd, 2023, a very significant date. And as you so accurately described, Deborah, it really starts with a meeting of science and spirit. You know, there are so many divisions in our society today, but I think the most fundamental really is the disconnect between materialistic science and consciousness and spirituality. And if all is one, those two have to find their common ground first. And that's what David Bohm was really very preoccupied with. And so the implicate is spirit and the explicate is materialism, but they're all from the same source and they're woven together through this movement, this ongoing flow of the Holomovement. And we were blessed by over 50 collaborators and contributors to the Holomovement book. So it's a deep dive into the wave flow of the Holomovement and contributions from many authors and thinkers from around the world. And we're very honored to have had so many legendary and wise people contribute to the Holomovement book.
I'm going to come in for a moment and just say it is a wonderful book. I was really proud and happy when I got it in Sedona last year. And people can get it easily by going to Amazon. And again, if you just go to Amazon, put into the search bar Holomovement, it'll show up easily for you. And of course, we're putting this link into the chat box for our Zoom room audience.
Thank you, Scott. And I might add that the Spanish edition of the book should be coming out later this summer. So we're excited about that, especially being here in Spain, where we had our recent Holomovement Wave conference. So our Spanish speakers will soon have the Holomovement book to read as well in Spanish.
And your translator was there, and he is a friend and student of Desiree and JJ Hertak, who have been on this program many times, and like all of you, are members of the Evolutionary Leaders Circle. So everyone's coming together for this. And I want to just say a note about the name, the Holomovement, because some people hear that name and they think, oh, I don't know, am I going to be able to remember that? Does that come from physics? You know, but I've been thinking, the word holistic entered our vocabulary in the last part of the previous century and is now a word everybody speaks. And that is the same wholeness that is inherent in the name Holomovement. So I want everybody to remember it that way. Pronounce it correctly and you say Holomovement.
Holomovement as a whole, and indeed, you're absolutely right. It's a holistic movement, and one fairly simple, actually easy word to remember that it describes the movement of the whole. So you got it, Deborah. Thank you.
And many of us, including this global peace tribe that's the audience here, have been yearning for a movement of movements for a long time, and it's time now. So the Holomovement has had some events to bring people on board and get everybody thinking together and visioning and dreaming together. And this year's event on the beautiful island of Ibiza was produced by the team that you put together since the previous event. And I'm excited that we're going to have some members of the team later on in the show this evening. But I'd like to ask Laura Rose, who was one of the organizers, and I remember in Sedona how Laura, you inspired us all. We all wanted to go to Ibiza the next year, and that dream just came true. So please tell us what the purpose of that gathering was and who attended, and just give us a feel for what happened there.
Well, thank you so much, Scott, for having me and Emmanuel on the program. And Deborah, what a treat to get to see you so soon after celebrating this extraordinary, really what I consider a seminal event in Ibiza. It brought together over 200 people, which is just, mind-blowing. It was sold out, and then we had people that we sort of shoehorned in that just kept appearing, and everybody who attended seemed to have come for they got some message, some download that they needed to be there. And throughout, people kept telling us, I just had this feeling I needed to be here. And now that I am, I understand why. And people were so lit up and so extraordinarily just high on the experience. And this started, in some ways, this started with Manuel's and my journey well over 30 years ago. We decided to combine our passion for bringing the planet together through cultural exchange in the early 90s. And we started, we've facilitated through Greenheart over 170,000 experiences for people from 85 countries around the world. And then went on to do that with Foundation for the Future, and exposing children through the Foundation for the Future to sustainability and purpose all over Spain, bringing kids to an environmental center on the island called Casita Verde that we supported for years. We started a spiritual center on the island in 1997. We introduced something called the Greenheart Guide to Living in the early 2000s on the island. We also were very involved with some other experiences on the island, like the Spirit Festival, which we launched in 2014, and then passed the torch to Jerry Brownstein to carry on the good work. So over the years, we've had a lot of experience of doing different things, and also with Purpose Earth, which funds and grant and mentorship programs for grassroots communities around the globe. So this seemed like the perfect place to carry on from last year's experience with igniting the Holomovement, which was enormously successful. And Scott joined us and about 80 other people. And Source of Synergy, of course, was very involved with that. And also, thank you very kindly, helped us to organize this event in Ibiza. So our vision for this was to bring together extraordinary people doing amazing things. And so each morning we had what we called a stream, which were sort of breakout sessions that people could each day choose a different one. We had Love in Action, which was sponsored by and facilitated by Dr. Marty Casey, who's frequently appeared on the program, and another extraordinary woman named Scarlett Lewis, who tragically was motivated to create the Choose Love movement through the loss of her 6-year-old son at Sandy Hook many years ago, and he's been speaking to her through many messages over the last 10 years and encouraged her to carry out this beautiful work. So that was one of the streams about bringing love into all of changing every negative thought into a loving one. And we also had a beautiful one called Conscious Flourishing with Shamini Jain, and the founder of Conscious Healing Initiative, and also Dr. Cassie Veaton, who was the former CEO of Institute of Noetic Sciences and the lead scientist there. We also had another one called Exponential Collaboration, which was about about collaborating on the highest level possible, which is really what the event was about, was that ability to help us all bring together our very best selves and to not lose ourselves, but to break down the silos of the extraordinary work that we're all doing and to partner together to create something extraordinary. And the last stream was called Evolutionary Technology and New Economies, and had a huge variety of people, but was primarily led by Zenka Caro, who's probably is, I think you've had her on the program. In fact, I think you did a program about the Holomovement and filmed it from her house last year, Deborah. So she's there.
Zenka is on the show tonight.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, well, we're pre-recording, so I don't get to share all of that, because by the time the show is actually aired, hopefully I'll be asleep. But so that was part of it. And then we had just beautiful time for movement, for somatic experiences, yoga on the lawn. The hotel was overlooking a beautiful view of Formentera, which was just magical setting. And then we used a lovely auditorium that was in walking distance of the hotel. And there we had over 175 people for 2 different evenings of events that included people like Gopi Kalayil, who is the global strategist for Google's AI. And we had Mark Buckley, who's the author of the UN Manifesto for the Sustainable Development Goals. And Lynn McTaggart was there doing her intention experiment. It was amazing. And then one evening, which was sort of the pièce de résistance, if you will, we had a fantastic, just kick-ass party at Juntos Farm, which is a regenerative agricultural center in the middle of the island. And I will forward you some really great footage of that, so that you can share that, Scott. But I think that's where we all let down our hair and just, danced to drummers. And we had Gary Malkin there, and he was harmonizing with Michaela Gaston. And wow, the energy was palpable. It was just extraordinary. So I think we all left with a lot of joy in our hearts. Yeah.
So you can see that the formula of bringing together extraordinary people who are doing amazing things really works. That's probably as good a definition as any of the building blocks to the Holomovement, is all the people who are doing incredible projects to build a creative new future, and don't necessarily know each other and don't have any way to connect. So that was really beautiful. And I know, Laura, that you would like to tell us about some miracles that occurred during this gathering together.
Deborah, I think there were so many extraordinary things that happened. There was so much magic in the air that it was palpable throughout. And I certainly, Lynn McTaggart's intention experiment, the first night at the auditorium with 175 people there, was one of the most powerful sort of catalysts for everything that occurred afterwards as well. But she had the whole group, all of us in that auditorium, break into her groups of 8, which she calls the power of 8. And so we each chose somebody in the circle. So there were, dozens of groups there. And one of them was this beautiful French woman named Amandine, and she was selected by her group because she came on crutches. She's been on crutches for 8 months. She broke her ankle in 7 different places and has been in excruciating pain since. And she's this beautiful soul. She's absolutely radiant in every way. And yet she told me that she barely got it. We had to kind of go over a pedestrian bridge over the highway to arrive. And she said she could barely make that trip. And she was in so much pain. So we got together and we did the work of Len, and she sets the tone. She told us extraordinary stories of her past experiences with this. And so Amadine was in the middle of a group, and everybody was generating their love and all of their healing energy to her for about, I don't know, maybe 8 minutes, Deborah? What do you think? Something
I
like
think
that.
it was only 6.
Maybe it was 6. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that long. And honestly, you could feel the whole room was generating this pulsating love throughout. So imagine all of these groups of 8 all over this auditorium, all of us sending love to the person within our circle. And at the end, Amadine raised her hand, stood up, put her crutches aside, and went dancing across the front of the auditorium, and has since then texted me every day to say she's still off of her crutches. She didn't
Amazing.
at the airport, and it's the first time that she's been pain-free since this terrible accident that occurred almost a year ago. And then that was just one of many stories of people that were there. That there was Ursula, who was Ingmar's girlfriend, whose hand, she had fallen on her hand and it was really hurting, and that was cured. And Jeff Parrott's arthritis was cured. And then I think the most extraordinary story of all is that.
And wait, because
Oh.
we are going to be hearing tonight from Dr. Marty K. Casey, who also had a miracle healing during that same intention experiment.
Oh.
And she is still posting about it on Facebook. So
Oh my
I know
gosh,
she's going to
okay.
want to tell us about it.
Okay, well, I'm not going to tell her story of how I don't know it, but I will tell just one more, because I think this is the most extraordinary of all. For those of you who are familiar with her, Maureen Edwardson is extraordinary light being and healer, and uses inner resonance technology to take people to the next level of skipping over all the steps that people normally go through with trauma healing and just be there, right? So Emmanuel and I have had the privilege of knowing and working with her for the last couple of years, and we invited her to join us in Ibiza. And I noticed I had never met her in person. And yet I noticed, and Emmanuel told me he did too, that when I met her, I felt that there was something a little different about her energy. And it wasn't quite what I knew from all of our Zoom meetings and things. And I couldn't put my finger on it. And so the night that we went to Juntos Farm, we go out to this beautiful setting in the middle of the countryside and on the island of Ibiza, and we're all dancing and praying and singing and eating locally sourced food and having this amazing time together. And I didn't learn this until I got back to the hotel, but as she was going up the path to go back to get on one of the shuttles to take them back, she fell, and she was caught, and she was embraced by a lot of healing energy, and people were escorting her. But when I got to the hotel, she was being loaded onto an ambulance. And 2 of my dear friends took her to the local hospital, and she was diagnosed with having had a heart attack and having blockage in 2 major arteries of 100% in one and 70% in the other. And so we've been, this whole legion of angels that have been with us. We've all been taking turns going to the hospital, checking up on her. She had a stent put in the artery that was 100% blocked, and they told her that she needed another stent before they could even consider letting her fly. So Emmanuel and I were back at the hospital with her yesterday and bringing her goodies and things, and she was saying, tomorrow is my procedure, and I'm going in for an angioplast, and then they will go ahead and put the stent in this morning. So this is right now, this morning. So she gives me a call about 2 hours later and says the doctors went in. Now, mind you, before this, we had done a circle of healers for her. This was after Lynn McTaggart, with 100 of us in a circle on the lawn of the hotel. And then all kinds of other healings were going on. So she goes in to the doctors this morning. They do the angioplast, and they pulled it out, and they said, you don't need a stent. Your veins and arteries are completely clear. 100% clear. And they discharged her today.
Amazing.
They discharged her. And I just took her to a little apartment, got her all set up with food, and we'll be putting her on a plane in a couple of days, and she's fine. She's absolutely
Wow.
I love hearing that. I'm going to bring up her picture real quickly. And our audience knows her. Maureen has been on the show many times, and she's one of those people that when she's not on as a guest, she's in the Zoom room audience commenting. And so this is our beloved Maureen. And that's an amazing story, Laura. Thank you for giving us this wonderful update.
And the most beautiful thing too was in the hospital. She was healing everybody in the hospital. She was working with the patient in the room with her. All of the staff was coming in and saying, "Oh, I've read about IRT and your website." So yeah.
Wow.
It makes you wonder if on some level she had that experience to get her into the hospital where she was able to provide support to some of the people there. I mean, God works in mysterious ways, right?
Absolutely. And she also said, if this had happened to me anywhere else, like if she lives alone. And so if she had been at home alone, instead of with this whole, fleet of angels, I think, it was the perfect place for her to be. So, yeah.
We are all learning that nothing is impossible. All of the barriers that we think we have to manifesting the reality that we choose are in our minds, in our psyches, in our culture, and not quantum reality, which we're just getting acquainted with. So there's certainly so much that's possible through the Holomovement. So maybe, Emmanuel, you can give us a sense of how you feel going forward from the Ibiza wave and what you, Chief Visioneer, have in your vision and the vision of the extraordinary team of gifted people that you've put together to help manifest it.
Well, thank you, Deborah. Yeah, as you mentioned, the event here in Ibiza was called the Holomovement Wave. And indeed, it is a wave. And when the implicate order arose to create what is today our universe, it came about from an original vibration that caused a wave. So all of reality as we know it is a wave, and it's made up of potential wave patterns within it. Thus the choice of that term for the wave. And the wave keeps flowing. And I think we're so grateful to so many people. As Laura said, over 200 attended in one aspect or another, many of them from all parts of the world and 15 countries, coming so far to convene together in Ibiza to ride the wave. And I think they're all valiant surfers and grab their boards and let's sail forward here to see what we can do. So we're really inspired here by the momentum of the wave. And of course, what we really want to do is create community, encourage people to take on action-oriented projects. The Holomovement is all about action. The quantum formula that drives this forward is based on action, and that's our download from the conscious source to the explicate order, and it all happens through taking action. And of course, anything we're doing now to resolve the issues facing us today comes through action. So we're encouraging everyone pick a project, an idea, something that they can really hands-on do something about, work together with like-minded friends in a small group called the Holon, which is both a particle and the whole simultaneously. And that's what we all are. Each of us are individuals, but we're all part of the whole. And our small community Holons are the same. And you can join the Holomovement as a Holon, take action, move forward, ride the wave into the future. And we're going to keep the wave flowing and gaining momentum, and more people all the time joining in all the way through the coming year, when we'll be providing more and more support and programs for our Holons right up till this time next year for our next Holomovement and Wave coming up in North Carolina, Asheville, North Carolina, a year from right now. So ride the wave with us, and let's catch a big one and ride it safely to a sandy shore.
Thank you so much. And we're going to be talking to Danette Wolpert in a little bit. She's going to show us how people can join the Holons, how we can go to the Facebook page. And I definitely, good Lord granting, will be there in Asheville, North Carolina, because as fate would have it, two of my closest friends own a retreat site in Asheville. And so it's a place that I go to usually once a year anyway. I'm cutting myself off. I can do that. I don't feel good cutting anybody else off, but I feel good at cutting myself off. Look who's here. Talk about miracles. It is Dr. Marty Casey, one of our absolute favorite global peace drivers. And you were in Ibiza, and Rev Deb, I'm going to turn over to you to introduce her, but she's here and we're excited.
We are indeed.
Hi, Deborah.
Not only was she in Ibiza, she was the first person I saw in Ibiza because we met at the airport. And I still owe her money for my share of the taxi ride to the hotel.
No, you owe me nothing. You owe
So
me.
thank you for that act of generosity by the one who had euros. That was great. So for any of you who don't know Dr. Marty K. Casey, she is a global peace ambassador. She's an inspiring singer, a gifted actress, a writer, a producer, a director, and the founder of the Ungun Institute. And whatever hat she's wearing, her goal is to heal our community, to provide a response and an outlet for inbred trauma. And I have to tell you that she's also an incredible comedian. She does improv stand-up like nobody's business. And she totally lit up the room at the Holomovement, and she had us all doing the Holo Wave. And it was really exciting to listen to Dr. Marty Casey, even when she wasn't talking about her passion, which is to eradicate harmful responses to trauma that wreak havoc on families and the world at large. And that is the mission of the Ungun Institute, whose slogan is hurt people, heal people, heal people. So it was a delight to be with you in Ibiza. And I can't wait to hear a little bit of some of your reflections on your experiences there. And don't forget to tell us about your miracle.
Oh, wow, wow, wow. Well, first of all, Deborah, Reverend Deborah, it is such an honor and a pleasure to always be in a room with you and to gather again, after Sedona, coming to the wonderful, beautiful place of Ibiza. It felt like we literally walked out on pages of a storybook. I mean, it was just undescribable, so beautiful. That's the visual, but the actual all the things that happened was mind-blowing. I'm still trying to catch up to all of the wonderful miracles, all of the just remembering all of the beautiful humans coming together and hugging on one another, breaking bread together, talking and creating. It was everything that we dream about. Like, I feel like if you can imagine, it's almost like we're little people working in our own little cubicles all the time. And then all of a sudden somebody comes along and just removes all the cubicles, and you look up and we're in a whole big room with each other. And that's what it felt like to me. So I'm still in awe with that. Hearing the story of Laura speak about the miracle with Maureen, I am so grateful for that. Let me just honor that for a second, because we all were so worried and concerned. When we were at the forum, I happened to be one of the groups that I was in the first group that left early going back to the hotel, because it's almost like I can't get my clock moving and wherever I'm supposed to be. So I was still trying to catch up with Ibiza time in Ibiza. And then now I'm back home in the United States and I'm trying to catch up with United States time. And so I apologize for my delays and everything like that. But when we all gathered that next morning after we heard what happened to Maureen, and we were on the lawn praying, holding that intention, it was a different type of prayer than I had ever been a part of before, because it came after Lynn McTaggart taught us how to hold the intention for someone. So I just imagine that all of us was just zooming in on Maureen, and looking at her heart from the inside, and just really pushing all of our might, all of our power into her heart, and saying, heal that very spot, oh God. Do what is necessary right now, because you know who she is, and why she is. And so I just felt it in my spirit in that moment, like, she's going to be okay. She has more than 8 people here gathering right now. She has 8 times 10 and plus. So she's going to be just fine. And I felt that in my spirit. And I think I said, what Lynn taught us really is the power of prayer. We're calling it intentions, but to those who really work, or those who identify in Christian faith and other faiths that really is big on prayer, I don't want you to not understand exactly what it is that we did when she put us in those circles of 8 and holding that intention. It's the power of prayer in the collective. And it works, because I did it today. Reverend, I did it today. I received an award, and I broke everybody up and put them in circles of 10. I actually did 10. And we had 2 women to receive their healing today. As I was there to receive an award, I said, I know you think that I came to receive, but actually, no, I've been sent here to give. And what we were able to lead them in that moment, there was the vocalist had sang maybe about 4 or 5 songs, and you could just hear her throat closing up. And she sang a Whitney Houston song. And if you know anything about Whitney Houston, though, you got to really have a well voice in order to hit those Whitney Houston notes. And you could hear some of the struggle. After the intention and the power of 8 circle, I had her sing that Whitney Houston song again, and she was hitting notes effortlessly. She says, I don't feel clogged up anymore. It's like my sinuses was draining and it had me so clogged. She says, I just feel so free. And the other lady she has heart issues, and she's scheduled to go to the doctor for her surgery next week. I said, I want you to call and give us a praise report. I said, but let me ask you this. How far can you walk before you would be out of breath? She says, I can't take more than 20 steps. I said, I'm going to ask you to take 30 right now. And she took 30 steps. And then I gave her the microphone. I said, tell me how you feel. She says, I'm not out of breath. I don't believe this. I'm not out of breath. She says, I feel good. So the reason that I was so confident in being able to lead that intention is because I was the recipient of that power of 8 circle, if you will, in Ibiza. And I'm just going to be, can I just be honest, Reverend Deborah, if I was not the recipient, I don't know if I would have been as open to or wonder. I just think that some parts of me, just me knowing me, I probably would have been a little skeptical, like, oh, okay, maybe them some of Laura's friends, some of Emmanuel friends, and so they, you know, and then you gotta make sure it looks like it works. No, I was one of the recipients. I've been in chronic pain every single day with a sciatica nerve damage. And after you live with pain for so long, even if it's emotional and spiritual and pain, sometimes we just push through. We still show up and we still, act like we're okay, and we're really not. And all of that pain, it actually shows up in not just in your day-to-day, your physical, but it shows up in even how you present and who you are and how you're connecting with others. So I love the fact that we're talking about this, the healing part of the collective, because as we connect and we're actually asking others to connect with others, we want to make sure that that connection is a connection of the healing people, right? Because you share what I speak about all the time: hurt people, healed people, healed people. Well, I'm just going to tell you, if I'm going to connect with some people, I want it to be some people that are healed. That's important to me. So I was the recipient, and before we could even get to that final 10 minutes, because she says that for eight of us gathering, that we hold the intention for 10, but I think we only made it to about 6 to 8 minutes. She went ahead and released us. And as I was opening my eyes, I know my group probably was like, does it work or not? Because my eyes was just kind of like, I was looking frightful and stunned, because I couldn't even feel where I would normally have the pain. And I have taken my body in the last 48 hours through some excruciating issues. I was stuck in Madrid for 11 hours and I had to sleep on a wooden bench in the airport for hours. I was crying, not because so much I was sleeping on the bench, but I was crying because I said, I just got healed from this sciatic nerve damage. And I guarantee you, when I wake up from this Pinocchio bench, I am going to be back in pain again. And I wasn't. I wasn't. I was not. I'm so excited to have met Lynn McTaggart, and for her sharing of her gifting and her talent, and to know that it empowers us to go and gather others to do the same thing. Like, that is my greatest takeaway of, if I didn't come to Ibiza for anything else, if it was to witness that and to be able to gather others in 8 to 10 people in a circle and having that intention and helping others heal from physical pain. I got that whole emotional pain thing down with Ungun. I can help you out emotionally quickly, because we use the arts. And you talked about that. You talked about me taking the stage and being able to improv. Well, that's what Ungun is all about, is we tap into the heart of man. And if you can make man laugh, if I can turn your frown into a smile, then I know that's me putting a safety lock on those guns that we carry every day in our hearts for one another. That's how I put a safety lock on that. When you can give someone an experience with you that allows them to see you from the inside, to feel your heart, see your heart, and to know your heart. See, me sharing that cab ride with you, Reverend Deborah, it had nothing to do with the fact that I had the proper funds, but it had everything to do with it's us sharing in the collective. If I have something that you need, please come with me. Let me share. That's what this whole movement is all about. And I love that you made the correlation of it being holistic, right? Because when we're talking about the wholeness, we're talking about healing, we're talking about the natural properties of what we already have. That's holistic healing. And so I'm so excited about it in so many ways. I could talk about this, Scott. I could talk about this every single time you ask me to come and be on the show because it is amazing. And I had an opportunity. I just want to say this one thing, and then I'm going to wrap up here. I had an opportunity to present Love in Action with one of the most brave, amazing, beautiful, heartfelt people in the world. And that was Scarlett Lewis, who lost her son unexpectedly to gun violence. And she's dedicated her life moving forward to choose love. Choose love versus choosing harm. Choose love versus choosing judgment. Choose love versus choosing violence towards someone. The outcome is so much greater when we choose love. And to be able to partner with her and Shannon Dissolets, who's also her partner in Choose Love, for Ungun and Choose Love to come together, it was the completion of what I believe is needed today. See, if I can help someone ungun and fun and get their hearts open into a place to now they can continue to choose love, they're now living their best life. And that's what this is all about. So the last thing that I just want to leave everyone with is this. We wondering, because we hear all the time, what's going on in the world? It just seems like da 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 da. Well, I'm going to tell you exactly what's going on. We have violence happening every single day. We're being so violent towards one another. We see the wars, we see the personal violence, community violence, domestic violence. We see it on all levels, different types of violence. I don't even have to name that, just violence. Underneath the violence is trauma. So if you look at what's the violence is the cause. Trauma is what needs to be healed. And underneath the trauma is healing. And healing leads to peace. And peace, it heeds us from going back to being violent again. So I want you to know it's the cause, it's the need, it's the lead, and it's heed. Violence is the cause. Trauma is what we need to heal. Healing leads us to peace, and peace is what we need to heed to so we don't go back to violence. That is the oneness that we've been talking about. That's the oneness and the wholeness of the healing for living your best life. Thank you for having me tonight. It's been a pleasure.
Well, don't go away too quite so fast.
Okay.
We want to talk about Ungun Institute and take a look at that, but I also want to read so many comments have come into the chat box. So I'm going to read some of the comments from our wonderful Global Peace Tribers. Dr. Laura writes, as above, so below. The federal government is the purveyor of violence and oppression around the world, and that violence trickles down to the hurt people throughout the land, including and especially the youth. Dana Tomasino writes, we should do those intention circles for violence perpetrators. Ayada writes, bang on, Dr. Marty. Carol Craig writes, I've known about Scarlett Lewis ever since Sandy Hook. She really took the tragedy of her loss in gun violence and used love and forgiveness to make her heart heal. As a teacher, Carol is a teacher who's writing this. As a teacher, Scarlett Lewis has been an inspiration for me. Dr. Laura writes, right on, Dr. Marty. Carol writes, you are an inspiration, Marty. And George Noble wants to know that there are certain vitamin combos that can help eliminate sciatica. So you might want to check in with him about that. And Charlotte writes, Dr. Marty, you are such a gift. I'm so happy that you were able to receive that healing. Susan Bloomquist wrote, I've heard of this group Healing Intention working in a Christian setting. I think it works when people are in honest intention. And Ayada added to that, yes, I'm close to some people in a Christian church where they do a lot of laying on of hands and affirming divine intervention for healing. And there are many stories of miraculous healing. And Dana writes, that is awesome, Marty. I love how you pay it forward. Eleanor Joy writes, beautiful story. Thank you for sharing, Marty. And goes on and on and on with more reading, more comments coming in.
Wow.
Last one I'll read is from Grace that just came in, because she kind of wrote down what you had shared with us. Recognizing the trauma, healing the trauma, helping end the cycle of trauma. This is how we build peace.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. We got to peel back the layers, but if we don't know where the layers are and what they are, it's very difficult for us to understand. And that's almost like it goes back to that intention again. The intention that we really need to be concentrating on is the peace. But in that power of prayer, we need to be peeling back those layers. So peel back the violence, peel back the trauma, peel back the healing, so we can get underneath that, which is the peace. And once we tap that peace, the spirit, the mind, and the body, it becomes that wholeness. It becomes that oneness that we're talking about, and the wholeness of the healing. So it just, it doesn't matter to me how you reach your highest intention of prayer, be it that you're Catholic, that you're Methodist, that you're Muslim, or you're Christian. That part doesn't matter to me. But what matters is that in the collective, whomever we are, that we put the focus on exactly where it needs to be, and through all of our personal power, all of what door we walk through and what we claim and what name we say out loud. It is the intention that gets our attention, and it allows that to come forth, and that healing to come forth. And so that's what I'm excited about. And if I can just continue to get on some type of mega bus and roll around the world and help people heal, I'm telling you, the first stop would be the White House. I'm telling you that right now. I would go and I'd just put all of those senates in 8 and 10 circles of people. And I'm telling you, Reverend Deb, we can make it happen. We can heal them within 10 minutes, because we got a lot of things going on that's ahead of us. And as I'm seeing people talk about the chatter of who they're voting for, who they're not voting for, listen, before you even go to the voting polls, I want you to put a safety lock on your heart. I need you to understand it's not about the person, but it's about the intention. It's the intention we need to focus in on right now. Who's for the people? Who's covering us? That's what I'll need us to zoom in on and think about. Maybe if we all put our attention towards healing the heart of America, the right person will win.
Let's do it, Dr. Marty. You're the one to lead us in that direction with your incredible spirit. I know you are a healing presence wherever you go.
Thank you.
I bless your path.
Dr. Marty, I just want to real quickly, we're going to go to your Ungun Institute website. And again, it's really easy to find it, everybody. For those watching on Facebook or YouTube, it's unguninstitute.com. And is there any particular part of your website that you want us to direct people to?
You know what? I'm going to say go to Living in the Green. I really want to help people get to living their best life, and being able to understand what we have created through Living in the Green. I help you to get to that clarification, elevation, and manifestation of what is happening in your life. And I'm excited about it because I love what I do. And I think when you have love for what you do, it's easy for others to be attracted to it. And so trauma has no race, face, or place. Shows up. We saw that happen with Maureen. She was in the best place in the world, Ibiza. We were laughing, we were eating, we were having a good time, and yet and still her body still said, right now, in this moment, you're going to rest. No rhyme or reason. Right now, you're going to rest. Trauma has no race, space, or place. But what comes after trauma? Healing, and then peace. And she didn't enter into trauma because of violence. She was in the middle of love happening, a circle of love. We were having a good time. That's just how trauma operates, you all. So you got to know the steps of what to do when it happens, if it shows up with you. So we want to be able to teach you how to do that. So Scott, thank you. I feel like I've been talking forever, and I know you got 1,000 people on this show that I can't wait to hear.
Well, Dr. Marty, you always are like, you're such a star. We love you so much. Take a look at all the comments flying in of people who just love and adore you. You are such an inspiration. God bless you.
Thank you. And I just have to say this, Reverend Deb, let me say this. With you being who you are and me being who I am, I feel like we are truly the bookends of this world. And together, no, hear me, together, I will hold your hand and go anywhere to do what's necessary to heal this world, because you represent groups of people as I represent groups of people. But when you put the two of us together, all those people in between us is what the world looks like. And so you just tell me where's the next stop and where we're going. I'm going to show up. I'm going to have cab fare. I'll get us there.
The next cab is on me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Love you so much, Dr. Marty. Make sure you read all the comments flying in. I only read half of them, so we love you.
Thank you.
Well, there you go. You've got your bookend partner, Rev Deb.
Yes, I'm inspired. How can we not be?
She is amazing.
Beautiful
She's a
soul.
force of nature. Dr. Marty is really a force of nature. You know, we had her on a show a couple months ago, and she laid out these 10 principles for really how to create change in the world. And they were so brilliant that 2 more times after that show, I played that segment for people, because it's just, she's inspirational, but she's also practical. You know, she understands, okay, this is what we actually need to do to make it happen. So
she's super entertaining, and that doesn't hurt either, because
Absolutely.
we need to reach people.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a lot of ways to someone's heart, and I think Dr. Marty has forged numerous pathways to help us get there.
And speaking of entertaining people while inspiring them, I think it's time for an Omashar song. What do you think?
Definitely.
All right. Beloved brother, now where's the background? Where is that? You already started the song. It's okay.
No, it's okay.
When you asked me a question, I had to change mic source, you see. It was actually just around the corner in Colorado, in the Rocky Mountains. I took it a couple of months ago, and I just managed to make the sun a little more shiny.
I love how the sparkles are coming down on top of you. It's pretty
my
beautiful.
magic. It's actually very cool. So no, this is a beautiful place that I go to, and it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. It's at about almost 7,000 feet, and you can just sit up there and feel all the power that we are as sovereign beings. And Marty, I think that you lifted the roof tonight. I've always appreciated you, but something really shone through about and from and through and within you tonight, and I resonate with it just so with such gratitude. So thank you, sweetheart. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And from one artist to another artist, try the spirit by the spirit. Every time you sing, every time you play, my heart just jumps. And so I know that my spirit is connected to yours in the universe of arts. Thank you for all you do.
Undoubtedly. Love you.
All right. Take 2. Deep breath. Illuminate yourself with the waves of love passing through. Think not anything. You're the one you're waiting for. We have now received all the blessings of all time. Come and celebrate what we've all become. Life is you, love is you, be all that you are. Show the world you are true, and all the earth will rise and answer you. No need to hesitate. Open hearts can walk right through. There is no door or gate that could hold your love at bay. We encourage you to hold only to what is true. Your life is yours to make. All your wildest dreams come true. Life is you, love is you, be all that you are. Show the world you are true, and all the earth will rise and answer you. Life is you, love is you, be all that you are. Show the world you are true, and all the earth will rise and answer you. Think not anything. You're the one you're waiting for.
That is, I think, the prettiest melody of all your songs. There's
It's,
something so soothing about that melody.
It is beautiful. It's a balm to my heart as well. And I normally play that with a backing track and play a flute to it. And I wasn't going to play it tonight, and something just said, just play it. And so I was learning as we were going along how to replay it, because normally I have a backing track playing the keyboard bit, and I'm playing a flute instead. But this just felt right because it was unplugged, ungunned, safety lock on. We're all good.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much. We're gonna have one more Omashar song, so definitely stick around for that. And thank you everybody for moving and grooving and dancing to the music. I just love watching all of you that get up and dance. Adora, Eleanor Joy, Ayada, Sylvia. It's just beautiful. Thank you so much.
I wanted to speak to that too. You know, a lot of programs have music, but I don't know any other programs that have dancing. And I think it's very special that the Global Peace Tribe members, especially the ones who show up from week to week to week, get a chance to not only enjoy Omashar's uplifting, inspiring music, but also be part of it. It's a beautiful thing.
You know, it started spontaneously, and it really started with Adora and Eleanor Joy. I want to give them a lot of credit because they're the ones that really were every song. And it's like every week I'll see a new person finally getting up and dancing. I'll see someone who's been a regular for years finally beginning to, you know, move a little bit. It's been beautiful to watch the spontaneous unfoldment of it.
It makes it a party, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Omashar, that was so beautiful. You are the one
it's a lovely
you've
one.
been waiting for.
Some of
Nice.
these songs, am I being heard?
Yes, we hear you.
Some of these songs, they're right in the back of my consciousness, and before a show, the title just shows up, and for some reason, and it's always on the mark. It's right there. You know, we're all so in tune with each other, and we've developed a trust in each other, and what Dr. Marty was inspired me to say is that no matter how we're feeling, no matter what's gone up in our day, we just continue to show up and be present. You know, we could have had a tragic day, but we show up. I mean, in fact, many of us watching now have had tragic weeks and months behind, and we just keep on showing up and support. And I would love, you know, I actually have heard of Lynn McTaggart's Power of 8 Circles, and maybe it's something that we could bring here. Because it's if we don't continue the work, it just stays closeted, let's say. And the testimonies that I've heard tonight are amazing. Holy smoke! And you know, unless we show up and practice these things, then they're not continued. And so yeah.
You know, there's so many comments that have come in, and I apologize to those of you who I don't read all, but there's one that came in from Ayada. I love this Global Peace Tribe, all of our members, all of our guests, especially Scott and Omashar, for uniting us every single week.
It's phenomenal.
So profoundly blessed right now, feeling so lifted up and inspired. Thank you, everybody.
Beautiful. And I was just noticing there's the Power of 8 water drops behind me. There's 8.
Oh, there you have it.
I tell you what, yeah, I'm just so psychic.
But we knew that.
We're going to have kind of a special treat. Some of you who were at our Los Angeles retreat got to hear poetry from Andrew, and he's going to do a poem tonight. And I turn it over to Rev Deb, who's known him for quite some time, to introduce Andrew and his poem tonight.
Well, thank you. That is definitely my privilege, because Andrew and I met in Central Park at a peace event that was held for many years, celebrating the International Day of Peace. And he presented such an inspiring poem there that I knew I needed to meet him and get to know him, and we've become friends over the years. Andrew Kane is the founder and executive producer of Planet Hearts, annual World Peace Earth Day celebration. And he's the only one I know who puts those two concepts together. You know, we can't have world peace without peace with the earth. So that's quite brilliant. And that began in New York City in 2007. He's an ambassador for peace. He's a vibrational sound healer. He's a poet with sacred sounds and spiritual songs about peace and oneness. He has a spiritual name, which is Reawakened. That's a scramble of his name, Andrew Kane. And you can find out more about him at planetheart.org. So we're going to, and we've been a bit around the world together, right, Andrew?
Yes.
I last saw you live in the Holy Land on
Right.
Unity Earth's journey there. So I really look forward to hearing your poem this evening, Andrew Kane.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Scott, for having me be on the show, especially that it's about the Holomovement, because all my work and my mission is about oneness and looking up to that. And I've been in the permanent state of oneness since my spiritual awakening in 1996. The poem I'm going to share with you is called Dream a Dream Come True. It was written in 2016. Here it goes. I dream a dream where my reality is the width of my fantasies, where there are no limits, no doubts, full of love and gratitude, to let go of what was and open a new chamber for growth, expansion, and manifestation of my highest intent, to share my dreams with the world, where my reality is but a whiff of my fantasies everlasting, where no limits apply and all boundaries are met, with circumstances and compassion. Manifestation of my highest intent is to share my deepest dreams for heaven on earth materialized, where oneness is one for all, and unity is in all communities, across the great divide, connecting all land to see that indeed we are all one, connected to the heart mother, beating as one, to all living creatures and plants, water and land united, humans seeking the path of connection like never before, time to spread our wings with our multidimensional selves, no limits, full throttle ahead. I dream a dream where my reality is the width of my fantasies, where there are no limits, full throttle ahead, ahead like the sky is blue, like night and day, and sunshine and moonshine. Shine our lights with the light of the sun, and the light of the moon and stars, like the fire in the fireplace. Ignite our fire higher. Our heart chakra is ready to expand and rejoice, to fill our souls with honey, sweeter than any taste you know of, finer than any grain of salt. The minerals and crystals speak to us. The waters of the world need love too. The trees need a hug. The animals and first peoples have been preaching this message for thousands of years, but we were sleeping. The sleeping giants awakened, and time at last for my dreams to come true. I dream a dream, and the time has come now. It is here to let go of what was and be the light of the world. We each share this light, so let us shine on, sweet diamond glory. Shine on, shine on, shine on. Shine our light and be the light, the peace, the way to return home. Still breathing, keeping the dream alive. Welcome home, everyone. We are one.
Beautiful.
Very inspiring. Thank you, Andrew. You're
You're getting raves in the chat.
Yeah, there's a lot coming in. Roger writes, Andrew, I'm so proud of you. Lots of smiles. Carol Craig just wrote.
I like Carol's.
Yeah,
freaking love that poem. Beautiful.
Oh my gosh. I can't keep up with all the ones that are coming in so fast. That was so good, Andrew. Thank you for sharing. Beautiful, Andrew. Shine our light. Very special, Andrew. I feel present to it. That was great, Andrew. And those are like the first 6 comments that just came in. So they're flying in. Marty Casey just wrote, yes, we are one, Andrew. And we are. Thank you, Andrew. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. Let's have you come back for another poem again soon.
Thank you.
Well, we are going to go to another recording that Rev Deb and I did a couple of days ago, and it's pretty self-explanatory. This is, now take notes, everybody, get ready, because this is how we all are going to get involved in the Holomovement. You know, we've heard a lot about it, a lot of excitement, but this is how we can actually get involved. And I'm really excited that you're going to hear from, she's been on the show many times when she was executive director of Illuminate Film Festival. Let's hear from Danette Wolpert. Well, the hits just keep on coming. I'm really excited that we are with Danette Wolpert. She's a dear friend. Of course, you remember her from all the shows that we did with the Illuminate Film Festival. She was the executive director of that festival for many, many, many years. And now she is very involved in the Holomovement. And so, Rev Deb, I'm going to turn it over to you to give your sharing about Danette. And then she has a lot to share with us tonight.
Well, first of all, I want to reintroduce her as Danette Wolpert Holman, as we had the pleasure of meeting her husband, Drew Holman, in Ibiza, and he had a medical episode months ago. So many of us were on the team praying for his recovery. And when we saw him in Ibiza, it was so thrilling to know that our prayers had worked and that he was feeling better, and he was there with his camera helping capture the magic of the Holomovement wave in Ibiza. So Danette, congratulations on marrying him and going through this enormous challenge in the very early days of your marriage and having a rainbow ending. So that was really very special to have both you and Drew with us in Ibiza. So Danette, you are on the core team of the Holomovement. Maybe you can start by telling us a little bit what your special role is.
Well, my contribution is in the way of visibility, which is essentially the challenge of sharing the Holomovement with as many people as possible, starting with early adopters, of course, which is our precious community, who are very well sort of prepared, right, for the merging of science and spirituality, and for unity in action, because this is something that is not new to our community, but it is most certainly through the Holomovement being approached in a whole new way. And very soon we will be inviting many, many more communities and mainstream communities and all kinds of different industries, sectors, racial communities, all of the above. We're going to be reaching out and inviting them to participate in the Holomovement.
Well, that's very exciting. You have a big job ahead of you. But you mentioned the early adopters, and those are the ones who are listening to us right now. So maybe you can give us a window into what can people do who want to be involved, who know in their hearts that they are already part of the Holomovement, and they would like to formalize that by signing up. So please let us know, what are the ways to do that?
Well, I'd love to. In fact, I do have a short presentation that I gave at the Holomovement Wave, and I think that would maybe be a good start for all of you out there.
Go for it.
Okay. All right, great. Let me share my screen. All right, can you see that?
Yes, we do. Perfect.
Okay, great. All right, potential holo movers out there. This is really all about how to come together and align. All of us are already a part of something that is truly manifesting a better world. And so how is the Holomovement attempting to sort of bring us all together in alignment? So We start with an official definition of the Holomovement, which is a worldwide social movement that awakens us to our interconnectedness, igniting a critical mass of inspired collaborative action that serves the good of the whole. So we, as a team, also defined our vision, our purpose, and our core values. And you'll see in our core values that we've got joyful service for the good of the whole. And really, that is the center of the movement. And of course, compassionate purpose, which you heard about today from Zenka. Unitive consciousness, which is, of course, at the root of all that we are doing. Radical collaboration, which is the how, and transformative action, which is if we really accomplish that at critical mass, we will see a movement that tips, so to speak. So this is something that may help everybody truly understand what's at the heart of the movement and what is also the critical path. So if I want to be a part of the movement, what am I doing? So our call to action is see the whole, play your role, co-create with soul. What does that mean exactly? So see the whole. When we see the world, do we see that it is a single, living, dynamic superorganism? And each of us plays an interconnected part of that big whole. Play your role within that superorganism. For example, like the human body, we have the heart playing a role, and we have the liver playing a role, and we have the brain playing a role. So within this superorganism, what is your role? And how does it help the whole function? Just like if the heart has a role to play, it does have to work with the brain and the liver and the gallbladder and the intestines. So, but it's really, right, essential that we each find our own unique role to offer, whereby we can offer our gifts. And then, of course, is co-create with soul, because this is the key to amplification, right? So we co-create with others, we collaborate, and we do it with soul. And we use the word soul in two ways. One, of course, is so that we are doing this with heart. And the other is really that we are co-creating with the divine. Because everything should be informed, right, from the divine as we go, and we sense and respond, and we get deeply in tune with our mission as we go forward, and we get deeply guided by the divine. So that is our call to action. Okay, so how do you all plug in? So at the moment, we have 4 ways to engage, and this is going to change. It's going to be in flow. So I might come on this show 2 months from now, and maybe there's 6 ways to engage. And so we are really just, it's all unfolding so beautifully. And all of the great ideas that were captured at the wave will all be, kind of considered and put in motion. And so there may be many, many on-ramps, into this movement. And I think at some point, someday, really, people will determine what their own on-ramps are, and they'll be creating the movement in their own lives. So let's start here. The first is simply to say, I am the Holomovement, and know what that means. So what we do have is on our website is a declaration of solidarity, which essentially means I believe in the principles of the Holomovement, and I am committing to see the whole, play my role, and co-create with soul. And in this way, really the possibilities are endless. in terms of how you want to embody the Holo movement or are already. So our community, really, so many of us are already in alignment with this, that really a declaration of solidarity honestly just builds the movement because it's a self-identifier. Then we have something a little kind of deeper in terms of involvement, which is to join the Holon community on Hilo. So Scott, you've heard of Hilo, I assume?
Yeah, and I am part of the Hilo. I get the emails every day. I'm doing the Hilo thing.
Doing the Hilo thing. And Deborah, I suspect you too.
Me too.
So Hilo is a platform for planetary well-being, and it's specifically been designed for collaboration. So now this was not designed by anybody on the team per se, but the whole point of the Holo movement is really to have those that are doing something that are really good at what they do kind of come in and offer their genius. And so the folks at Hilo have offered their genius in the way of this platform, and it's going to allow us all to collaborate in a really unique way. Now, this slide may be a little overwhelming for some folks. It is in tech geek language, or what Jeff Ferret calls nerdish. But this is sort of an overall summary of the major functionality on Hilo. So by holonic architecture, it just means that everybody has, sort of there we go. That sort of has its own holon. A little circle represents your holon, and a holon is a group of 3 or more people that are dedicated to a cause. So if you get together with 2 of your neighbors and you decide to run a community garden in your neighborhood, you can be a holon. If you already have a major network, like Reverend, Deborah has, the ELs, the evolutionary leaders, that's an incredibly powerful network, right? So it could be as small as 3 people, or it could also be as large as 3,000 people who are already part of a group or a network. Unified conversations, so you can really create posts that are for very specific groups. You can, create a post that goes to everybody. You can create a post that only goes to people that are aligned with regenerative farming, or self-healing, or whatever that might be. You could have conversations around certain topics. And place-based tools out there on the end is a geographic map. So you could see where all of the other holons are, and you could also check what's in your neighborhood, what's in your city, or you're traveling and you're in Dubai. Well, what's over here that has to do with self-healing, and can I connect with those folks here? So this platform is all about deepening relationships and building trust. So it's very different from your existing social media platforms. I mean, how many of us want to go onto Facebook and just offer everything we have, right? It just doesn't feel like a very safe place to do that. But when a community has been built specifically around trust, we feel more able to give. We feel more able to offer without necessarily demanding something in return. And so that's what Hilo is really all about, is we give first, and we know that giving is going to support the whole. And then at some point, when that whole benefits, we benefit. And it's also a circle of trust in that, good things all come around. So that's what we are building on Hilo. And as you can see here, the Holo movement is just one of many communities already using Hilo. So all of our holons are in our network map, but then we also have Pro Social and their whole map of organizations and individuals, and several others here, Open Team, Planetary Health Alliance. And these are just some examples, because not only will we be able to connect with others inside the Holo movement, we'll be able to connect with lots of organizations and people and groups that are outside of the Holo movement as well. It's part of a global network. So I just wanted to give you a little bit, of an inside scoop. I put some screenshots in here so people can actually see what the platform looks like. So you'll see here on the left is the big menu of everything that you can do once you're in there. And right now, the middle is just a the main section in the Holons hub where folks are just posting to the group at large. This here is a network map. So you could find yourself, let's say I'm the Sedona Yoga Festival, here I am, right, on that map, connected to all of these other Holons. And when you decide you want to go ahead and post, and you can post as an individual, or you can post on behalf of your Holon or your group, but you can start a discussion. You can request something. Oh, I need 30 volunteers for my event on Thursday. Or you can say, hey, we're looking for practitioners, to do XYZ. Or I need help with a press release, or, really anything. An offer, of course, is anything that you could offer at this moment. A resource is maybe something that you have that would benefit folks. You have a whole toolkit on I don't know, give me an example of a toolkit that we might be offering.
Social media.
Sure.
Right. How to increase your impact through social media.
Let's say that somebody already is has a gift in that area, and they have a database of information, or a PDF guide, or whatever it might be that they have that everybody else would benefit from.
Right. Or like a guide to regenerative agriculture.
Exactly. I mean, here at Illuminate, even a resource. What are the top 10 conscious films of all time, according to Illuminate, right? Just all of us have so many gifts to offer in the way of resources. So you could also start a project. You can create an event, and that event, of course, you would be able to promote throughout the system. So it's another great marketing outlet. And you could also create a group. So these are all the main functions that you can perform in Hilo. So I will say that, just like all other technology, it's really simple for some and very difficult for others, depending on how much you like technology. And so what we have done is we have created, this is Yasmin's role, is to really help facilitate the community building on Hilo. So she has 3 calls per month. So one of the calls will be a welcome experience. Folks who are new to Hilo, who have lots of questions, who want to see who else is joining, what they're doing, all of that. The ripple effect is for those who are now in there and they want to meet others, and they want to actually start exchanging and collaborating. So people with asks and offers and resources are all going to be on that call, so that really that will be facilitated by the Holo movement. And then the third call is actually offered by the Hilo team, not the Holo movement team. And they are talking about the functionality in Hilo and what's coming next, because they're developing it continually. So if they feel like we all want to see a way to do this or a way to do this, or we want a button here, or we want it to be able to give badges and tokens, or then they listen and then they actually create that functionality. So that's what that call is all about. And also to kind of cross-pollinate between the networks. So between Holomovement and Pro-Social, or Holomovement and some of the other networks. So the third option is by enrolling in one of the Holomovement programs, which at the moment, there are two. One is the monthly Holo Holders Prayer Circle. And if you are interested in, it's a very, it's the sacred component, right? So it's really holding
I'm in that
space.
one.
Yes. Well, Deborah, why don't you tell us a little bit about Holo Holders Prayer Circle?
Well, it's a beautiful experience because it's led by the Holomovement Keeper of the Flame, whom you share with the evolutionary leader. She's our Keeper of the Flame as well, the magnificent Reverend Paulette Pipe. And it's only a half an hour call. So it's very simple to come on the call and be with like-hearted people and just rest in the silence of our shared intention. So I invite you all to join us.
Thanks, Deborah. It really, really is beautifully led by our dear Paulette. Okay, and the Purpose Lab, which you've all just heard about. So those are two examples of programs that we're offering. But honestly, this is going to multiply in a big way because I sense that there's so many of you out there, just as there were so many at the Wave, that have programs that potentially the Holomovement can incorporate. So that you all can offer them to anybody that's part of the Holomovement. So we're looking forward to seeing what those programs, see those possible programs roll in. Okay, and last but never least, it's to become a partner. So everybody can exchange offerings and collaborate and, on Hilo with each other. And, everybody's free to do that. But if any of you all are interested in becoming a partner and sort of co-creating something like a Purpose Lab or like a service, for example, that will maybe be built into the Holomovement network and be available to all Holons, then we invite everybody to submit their idea. So at the moment, we have invited all those who participated in the Holomovement Wave to submit a co-created partnership proposal. And you can see that there's some criteria there. We want to make sure that any program that is proposed is immediately actionable, is resourced to some degree, is made better, of course, by collaboration, and truly benefits the whole. And, this is not an application for funding, but I know that we are really working on possibilities of collective finance and new models of monetization. So if there is something you have in mind with some possibly unique forms of funding, that might be something we would, really look at with you.
I have a question, Danette. Does that also include events? Because I know you've already partnered with the Illuminate Film Festival, with the Sedona Yoga Festival, with maybe the Pioneers. Is that this also the way to propose that?
Yes, absolutely. If there is an event where you're seeing some co-creation possibilities. So again,
I see. Yeah,
I know that that kind of we had quite a strong focus on events just out the gate, which was sort of a way to increase our awareness of the Holomovement in various different communities. And many of those were funded sponsorships. And I know that we are, for the most part, moving on from funded event sponsorships into more co-creative partnerships. So, where it's not just necessarily here, we're going to, fund something and you guys are going to get the word out. So moving into a more of a co-creative collaboration.
Yeah, that makes sense. It sounds very exciting.
Yeah. Okay. So if you would like to access, all of these forms, and of course you want to jump into Hilo, go to that URL at the bottom here, which is holomovement.net/community. And maybe Scott, you would want to surf our way there, so that generally folks can see where to access all of this.
Yeah,
And
well,
one last thing. Oh, yeah.
I was just saying, Rev Deb and I will do some surfing of the whole movement.net at the end of the show.
Okay, great. So yeah, the community page is where everybody gets to find all of this. So you can surf your way to that as well. But before I end here, I wanted to just welcome everybody to navigate over to the Holomovement social media, because we will constantly be posting opportunities there, and or events, or really thought-provoking articles, or webinars. We will be posting some Holon stories. So we are going to be harvesting some of the great work that Holons are doing in Hilo, and we're going to be posting it out and giving those projects a megaphone. So we've got Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and of course the website. So those are all places where you can stay updated.
Danette, you are amazing.
Yes.
I try not to overuse that word, but really, I'm so inspired by the quality of your work and your contribution to the team, and how much information you have brought together in a very clear way. It's just it's quite remarkable. Is this how long did it take you to gather all of these? I mean, is this a year's worth of work, or did you whip this up for the event in the last 3 weeks, or how? Tell us a little bit about just you and how you manifested this.
Well, the presentation and the forms, the documents, that that was probably just completed maybe in about 10 days before the event. But I would say that all of the work that we've done over the past year, just to really synthesize how the Holomovement is going to grow and how the Holomovement is going to expand. The big word is how, because I think everybody off the bat kind of knows what, right? Okay, all of us want to unite for a better world, right? So the what is very easy, like understanding our unity, understanding our oneness, right? Understanding our interconnectedness, right? That's something our community really is already on board with. And so the big question is, well, then how? So how is the Holomovement going to do it? So that has emerged, and will still continue to emerge, to be honest, but it has emerged over the last year. And the idea that we will definitely have partnerships, the idea that we will definitely have Holons, that we also need to be able to have an option for those who are not interested in a tech platform. And of course, then how to then make available and accessible all of the great programs that are kind of coming and weaving through. So it just became evident that we needed multiple on-ramps, and that once people really understand what the Holomovement is all about, they will go do it on their own. I mean, when I say on their own, they'll just go do it. And sure, they might plug in here or plug in here, or, plug into this other group or plug into, but, a movement is something that grows, and you don't sometimes, and you don't always know where it grows to and how many people are a part of it. It's just that people self-identify and they go do good things in the world.
Yes.
So we needed to make sure that we had avenues for everybody to do just that.
I love that, the multiple on-ramps. Because I also, when I think big about the Holomovement, I think about the Girl Scouts of America joining, and even like local governments joining, and people understanding that joining the Holomovement doesn't mean that you're under the Holomovement. It's just a way of connecting the dots of all of the beautiful initiatives to make this world a better, healthier place for all who live on the planet. So bravo, Danette, you're doing a phenomenal job. You and the team are just really putting forth so many beautiful ideas in such a comprehensive way. And we look forward to hearing more from you in the future about all these opportunities to be part of the Holomovement.
Yeah. Jeanette did an amazing job. She really is.
Isn't she incredible?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I love the openness of the invitation and how she kept saying, this is what we have now, but it's still in process. It's growing, it's expanding. There are going to be so many different ways to be a part of it. But for now, this is why we called this program Catch the Wave.
Exactly.
Because we're giving the opportunity to the Global Peace Tribe to be among the early adopters of the Holomovement and sign up now. It's free.
So one more time, I'm going to just take people to where you'll find it. And for everybody watching on Facebook, it's really easy. Go to holomovement.net/community. Or if you just go to holomovement.net and scroll around, you'll be able to find. But again, here are the 4 steps that she just described. Of course, if you click join, it's really easy. Everybody should do that. Like, at least put in your name and email address so that you can receive free of charge all the announcements. This is the big, significant global movement, and we are the Global Peace Tribe. So each and every one of us should at least be joining and being a part of this amazing, amazing process.
Everybody here is part of it anyway. So you may as well be getting the information.
Right. All right. While we were hearing from Danette, there was a beautiful message that came in on the chat room. And I'm going to read it, actually. And it's from Dr. Laura. She doesn't have her camera on, otherwise I'd put the camera on her. But Dr. Laura is one of our regulars. She's always with us. And she wrote, I would love to report a beautiful dream I had the other morning. It was on Thursday early morning. I was walking through the middle of the rubble in Gaza with Jesus, Mary, Babaji, and Yogananda. Their love, light, and peace were so overwhelming that their energy filled the entire region. It was an absolutely beautiful golden light that was intoxicating. I could hear the Palestinians from all directions praising God for miraculous healings. I woke up quickly and I knew instantly that the situation and that conflict is finally going to shift. The next day is when the new ceasefire proposal was announced. I'm so blessed to have been given this message. And boy, what a dream. I'd love to have a dream and be with Jesus and Mary.
Can we just take a moment and join that intention?
Yes, let's do that. Go, please lead us.
Could you say that committee again? That was very beautiful. So it was Jesus and Mother Mary and Babaji and Yogananda. So let's open our hearts right now to those extraordinary divine beings and add in our consciousness our guides, and whoever is special in your faith tradition, and whatever help you feel that you are being given in your life from whatever figure of divinity, angels, ascended masters, the beautiful archangels, our ancestors, all who are the peacemakers from beyond this realm. And let's call them all in and see them as she saw in her dream, shining their light over Gaza and healing not only the pain there now, but the generations of pain between the parties, everyone engaged to feel that love, to feel the energy of our intention for peace and healing in the Holy Land. Lighting that part of the world, the heart of the world, and bringing in a new energy, the energy that Dr. Marty talked about when we open our hearts and share our intention, our prayer for peace to prevail. And let's just hold that. In a very brief moment of silence, we're going to hold that together. See that light shining right now. Because we know in our hearts that nothing is impossible. May peace prevail in Gaza. May peace prevail in the Holy Land. May peace prevail on earth. Thank you. Thank you. You are the global peace tribe. We are the global peace tribe. We can do what the politicians can't, and the armies can't. Thank you.
I love that Dr. Marty came back on, and El Mashar with that perfect background.
Oh, Mashar, thank you. Thank you.
You,
This is for all faiths. And people of faith on this planet have an important role to play right now. And if you have been maybe not a member of a religion lately, or, distanced from the faith tradition that you were born into, that doesn't mean that you're not a person of faith. And people of faith can move mountains. So let's do it together.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Beautiful.
I get to call you Rev Deb, but I was just reminded that Rev is short for Reverend. And
Yes.
how wonderful for you to lead us in this beautiful prayer. And,
Thank you. And I am an interfaith minister, so this was right up my alley.
Exactly. And thank you. I'm going to make a shift. We were going to show a video with Gary Malcolm, and I'm going to actually move that to next week, because this is such a beautiful sweetness, this prayer. And I want us to maybe hear a little bit thoughts from Reverend Marty, and then we're going to actually go into a KES group healing experience. And I just feel like Gary brings beautiful, dynamic, powerful energy, but I want to stay
Oh,
this
it'll be something for us to look forward
it'll
to.
be something to look forward to because it's really
And
exciting.
can I make just a little announcement? It's a little off topic before we
Yeah, because we
dive
still
into
have our
this.
Global Peace Tribe announcements. So yes.
I just want to mention Zenka Caro because we did in the pre-record mention that she was going to be on the program this evening. And you've let me know that she's having internet issues and that's why she hasn't joined us tonight. So I trust you will invite Zenka Caro to come back and share some of the extraordinary work that she is doing now with the Holomovement and in her own capacity. She's really a very special human being. So I just wanted to mention that. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. And Zenka is one of our favorites. And she and I already have scheduled her to do an entire Wednesday night. I'm looking for my calendar because she sent me a date that she's available. Anyway, we're going to do a whole Wednesday night sometime in later June or July. So that's going to happen. Also, we just scheduled Pato and Antoinette are going to come in to do a whole show with us. A lot of your friends.
Lots of our evolutionary leaders.
I guess while we're doing that, this is Dr. Marty, I'll come back to you in a moment. But since we're talking about upcoming shows, let me do that right now. Next Wednesday night, we have another edition of Authors That We Love. And this is, of course, one of our favorite ongoing, I should pin myself, certainly. There we go. So we're going to do another edition of Authors That We Love. And we always have three authors. And Peter Sterling, who you've heard many times as a musician, but he has a book. So we're going to hear about his book. Corey Folsom is one of my love coaches, and he wrote a book that's gotten amazing reviews and is a bestseller all about communication. And Raja Street Joni comes to us from a good friend, Ariel Patricia, who, of course, always brings us beautiful authors. So that's going to be this Wednesday night. And then next Saturday night, a week from tonight, it's Kristen Hoffman. Kristen comes back to co-host. We love Kristen. And we're celebrating World Oceans Day. And we're going to have Keishi Chai and several of Kristen's friends. She's been very involved in ocean conservation for a very long time. And so she's going to have some of the people that she's worked with joining us. And we also are going to have a wonderful guest musical artist joining us. In addition, of course, we always have Omar Shah, thank goodness. But we're also going to have Kristen playing music and a very special guest joining us with some extra music. And we're going to have a KES healing next Saturday night with Maggie Rose. Maggie will be back doing KES healing. And we are going to have a KES healing tonight with Natalie. She's already in the Zoom room. So we're going to conclude with that tonight. Final announcement about upcoming shows is we are starting this film series that I'm doing with Lori Grace. You can come join us live at the Sunrise Center, and these films are going to be on Friday nights. So starting next Friday night, June 7th at 7 p.m., you can join us live at the Sunrise Center. That's in Corte Madera in Marin County, California. Or, of course, all of our Global Peace Tribers will get their own Zoom room link, and you can come on in and watch the film and participate in the discussion through a Zoom room link. But make sure you check your email to get the special Zoom room link for June 7th and for June 14th. And I will put them into the chat box right now, so it would be a good time for you to copy them. And but don't worry, if you don't copy it now, you can just check your email, and we'll be sending this out to everybody. And that brings me to those of you who are watching on Facebook or on the YouTube channel, YouTube channels. Come join us. This is a really good time to join the Global Peace Tribe because we just starting our new season is about to start. We're kind of in the end of our spring season, and we're about to start the summer season. But if you join us now, you can get the links to all of our shows all the way through until the end of September. So that's almost 5 months. Just go to globalpeacetribe.com, globalpeacetribe.com, click register for the new season. And the website, of course, will tell you all about us and all the different people that we have on our show. And for some reason, it's not coming up. But it should. So I'm not quite sure why that is. But if you go to globalpeacetribe.com and click register, that should work. If you have a challenge, send me a message on Facebook and I'll send you the link directly. It's a good time to register. Come and join us. We have great shows planned every Wednesday night, every Saturday night, and now this film series that we're doing on a weekly basis. People have also been asking about Piper Dellums. She's going through some challenges, to be very honest. Her tumors are expanding and growing, so we really want to keep her in our prayers. But God bless her, even while dealing with the tumors, she has created a new video that we're going to play next Saturday night as part of our World Oceans Day with Kristen. Piper is amazing. So please keep Piper Dellums in your prayers. And of course, we did a lot of prayers for our beloved Eleanor Joy, who I just put the spotlight on. And it's so good to see her out of the hospital, moving and grooving and dancing to the music. We are going to have one last song for you. So put on your dancing shoes, Eleanor Joy. And so we're going to do one more song from Omashar. But I want to hear from Dr. Marty. Any final thoughts, Dr. Marty, that you want to share? Then we'll hear from Reverend Deb, her final thoughts. And then we'll go to Omashar for a song, and then Natalie for KES group healing. Dr. Marty.
Sure. Thank you. What an amazing show tonight, Scott, as usual. One of the things I do want to say, Scott, we could talk offline, but I would love to co-host with you maybe around August the 10th, because August 9th actually represents the 10th year anniversary here of the unrest in Ferguson, here when Michael Brown Sr. was murdered in Florence, in Ferguson. And the reason that I believe that this is important, because we are in a presidential election year, and just as things are just in heightening, I think we can kind of get out in front of some of the trauma of what we just kind of deal with all the time. And so let's talk offline about that, Scott, and see if me and you can come up with a special, justice show for that Saturday. That would be awesome if you think about that. The other thing is that as Rev Deb was ending her prayer, as we always say, may peace prevail on earth. It made me also think about someone who was featured at the Holomovement, and he asked a very simple question. And Reverend Deb, help me remember his name. I want to say it's Mark. I'm not sure, but he's from Germany, and he was the one that spoke last in the theater. And he asked about
Buckley.
What is it?
Mark Buckley.
Mark Buckley. Thank you. And I want to do a poll right now with those who are with those who are watching. I would like for you to just put in the chat, if you could. Could you tell me where you live? If you could just put in the chat, simply give you about 5 seconds or so, and just simply tell us where you live.
They're coming in.
They're coming in. They're coming in, Rev Deb. Just like Mark said they would.
Look at how we've got Ecuador, Santa Cruz, Idaho, New York, Ohio, of course, California, Pennsylvania, Victoria, British Columbia. I mean, it's just, we really are truly a global peace tribe, which is very exciting. Rhode Island, New Jersey, British Columbia again.
Switzerland.
Awesome.
Switzerland.
Awesome.
Colorado.
Now, the reason that I don't want to, I don't want this to be a trick question, but in a sense, it kind of is. When we're talking about being a global peace tribe, and we're talking about global leaders, and we're just talking about just really caring about the universe and the world. And when we ask someone, where do they live? If we don't answer with the world, something is a little bit, I won't say wrong, but I'll say something needs to be adjusted. Because when we think about where we live, we got to think about everything in the world, the trees, the birds, the bees, the water, the mountains, the air we breathe. All of those things really matter. And we got to kind of keep our mindset in that place of this earth is our house. That's where we live, on earth. We're earthlings, and we should always uplift our home and our house. Now, so the way that I would say this moving forward, when I ask, where do you live on earth, but specifically, where's your address? And maybe you can then say Switzerland and Australia and all these different places. But where we live, the intention I want us to hold tonight is that we all live in this beautiful place, magnificent, matchless place called Earth. And let's care about our home and all of the parts of our home and all of the things that's working in our home. Because I know specifically in this address that I'm at, if I go into the kitchen and my water's not working, man, I'm going to be concerned. So when I live on this earth and somebody's water is not working on earth, I should be concerned about that. I'm concerned about the water you drink. I'm concerned about the trees that we're growing so that you can breathe freely. All those things really matter. So where do you live? You live
Earth.
on earth.
Thank you for reminding us where home is.
That's home. Earth is home. Thank you, Scott.
Dr. Marty, thank you so much for being with us. August 10th is already booked. I'm doing something with Bhakti Fest, but we could do August 3rd or August 7th. So let's talk about that and try and make one of those nights work.
Thank you. Love you.
Well, Rev Deb, what would you like for your final thoughts to be tonight?
What's been on my heart is there was a lot of activity in the chat when Laura Rose and then Marty Casey were talking about the miracles that came through Lynn McTaggart's Power of 8 intention in Ibiza and beyond. And what I was thinking was this group in the chat, it said, oh, we should do that. We should have Power of 8 groups here. We should do that here. But you're already doing it. I know I was part of the prayers for Eleanor Joy, and it was great to see her dancing and looking so beautiful tonight. And there are prayers in this community now for Piper Dellins. And whenever there is stress, I know you've had fundraisers for people who were needing medical assistance and didn't have the means to make that happen the way they wanted. So I think this is already a powerful community of shared intention. And that's something that you can not only be very proud of, but you can enhance. And you can keep that energy going the way we did our prayer this evening, the way you're about to do the prayer that you do every Saturday night. And this is a very special community. This isn't just an audience. These are participants who come with open hearts, ready to join together to make the world a better place for all. And that's what the Holomovement is about. So that was why I wanted us to be able to share a little bit about that on this program. And I'm sure there will be programs in the future that will track how the Holomovement develops and goes forward. And I know that whether or not you sign up, if you're listening to this, you are the Holomovement, and you are going to make a difference in a future for all life on earth. Thank you.
Rev Deb, I love you so much. I have so much respect for you. And people, she works so hard to really keep things going with the Evolutionary Leaders Network and all the different subgroups that take place. And so this is one of our great leaders. And I'm so glad we got a chance to hear you offer a prayer tonight spontaneously as an interfaith minister. And I hope that you'll come back. And I'd love for you to co-host a miracles show. We talked about doing a miracles show. So I'm hoping maybe over the summer, you'll come back and co-host a miracles show with me.
Meanwhile, let's keep manifesting those miracles.
Let's keep manifesting. So we've got some good ones to talk about in that show. How's that sound?
Okay, that's your homework, everyone.
Go out and create some miracles.
Manifest those miracles. Thank you, Scott. It's always a joy to be with you and the tribe.
I love you so much. Thank you, Rev Deb. All right, we're going to have a third and final Omashar song, and then a wonderful KES group healing. Jasmine Baird just jumped up. I don't know. I think she wanted to say goodbye to Rev Deb, maybe. So here we go to Omashar.
Songs about going home, about hopes and dreams, the ones that open your eyes, yet you rarely realize what they undo with you. It's time to look where we're going and choose our destiny. It's our attitude in life that leaves us open to all kinds of things. This is the journey that you take on your own. There are others going with you, but you do it all alone. All you need is courage. Spirit is with you on the alchemist's shore, so there's no need to worry, no reason for the fear. You will feel much lighter. Use what you know well. Share it amongst your friends. I can't conceive of a world where there's no feeling at all, no time for greater things. Only one thing to say, that's to enjoy yourself. There's no one better than you to do what you do, to go for anything. This is the journey that you take on your own. There are others going with you, yet you do it all alone. All you need is courage. Spirit is with you on the alchemist's shore, so there's no need to worry, no reason for fear. You will feel much lighter.
Oh, what a beautiful, beautiful song. Going to gallery view for everybody, where we can see everybody twinkling our beloved brother Omushar. And
That's where I live.
even Jasmine Bear is enjoying the music.
Right, Marty?
Oh,
We live, excuse me.
thank you, Omushar. Those songs, the second and third one tonight, were both just so beautiful, so pretty. Both have beautiful melodies and just such a healing to our hearts.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Love you so much. Thank God for Omushar. All right. Well, we still have one more really wonderful part of our show tonight. We, of course, are doing most Saturday nights KES group healings. And it is always such a pleasure to have Natalie joining us because she's coming all the way from Switzerland, which means that right now it is about 5:30 in the morning. So God bless her to get up that early to be with us. And welcome, Natalie. I so appreciate. And she jumped in. Mia was going to be our person, and she had to leave yesterday. I'm here at the sanctuary of Twin Ray Land. And Mia had to leave yesterday to go to New York to be with her mother, who is probably in her final chapter of life. And God bless Natalie agreed to jump in. And so thank you so much, Natalie, for being with us. We love you and appreciate you very much.
My pleasure.
People are asking, did you stay up late or wake up early?
I tried to sleep, but wasn't able to sleep, so I haven't slept much, but I've been awake.
Well, thank you so much. Is there anything you'd like to share just to introduce anybody who's new? Because there's always new people watching. A little bit about the KES?
It is a healing journey. And it's set up for groups. It was channeled by Shikinama and Sananda Ji, and I don't know, it's just magical. So I think I'll make it simple. It has to be experienced. So.
Absolutely. And I just want to invite everybody, you can get into a really relaxed place. Close your eyes, get ready. The experience lasts for a little while, usually about 30 or 40 minutes. It's kind of fun for me because I'm in the Twin Ray Sanctuary right now. They're right next door. And so kind of tuning into that vibe. And Natalie, of course, spent quite a bit of time here recently.
Exactly.
I'm in the Camelot room. I doubt they put you in the Camelot room.
No, I was in Lemuria.
Of course you're in Lemuria. And of course I'm in Camelot. They know how to put people in the right rooms.
Things are perfect.
All right, Natalie, I'm turning it over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Scott. Love you so much too. Okay. So center your presence in your heart. And just fall into the present moment, leaving behind the past and the future. Just relaxing. Opening your heart to receive optimal healing. And we're going to start. I, Nathalie Moutier, call upon the Cosmic Christ Supreme Intelligence to support and facilitate this group KES healing session. Asking permission from all receivers present and those to join later to receive this group healing with the highest good and divine grace for all involved. I request on behalf of everyone to become aligned for the duration of this session to the divine intelligence of the Christ energy system with grace, with ease, and with joy. I invite the cosmic Christ energies to connect with us now in the most appropriate way for all involved. May all that transpires in this microcosmic reflection of our group constellation support and uplift the ascension of the entire human collective and all sentient life. I also call forth the assistance of Divine Heavenly Mother and Heavenly Father presence to overlight this group holding container with pure unconditional love from the Most High. May all be known through this connection of pure love, so that this group holding session anchors with us in the most benevolent way. I call in beloved Shekinah Mind Sun Energy to create an even greater shift and accelerate the healing journey. Hosanna, Hosanna, Hosanna in the highest. Thank you, and so be it.
Thank you so very much, Natalie. You'll get a kick out of this. I looked outside just as Sanandaji was walking by and waved about 15 minutes ago, just before it got dark. So I took a screenshot of your doing this and sent it to the beloveds. So it was amazing. It's like the one moment I looked outside, there he was. Thank you so much for this beautiful way to conclude what was an incredible evening. And thank you for getting up. And I hope that you can go back to sleep now and maybe get
No, I'm good. It was beautiful. I always enjoy
Okay.
it. All is perfect.
You can also discover more about Natalie at her website, which is her name. She spells her name Natalie, Nathalie, and her last name is Musha, Moutia. So if you go to nataliemusha.com, NATHALIEMOUTIA.com, you can learn all about her. And it's a beautiful website where she talks about the sacred codes, her book, learn about her as a visual artist. She's a very, very special soul. I got to know her when she came out and spent a few months with us here in Ashland. And Jasmine Bear and that had quite the love affair, I got to tell you. You know, Jasmine Bear is she's got a good taste for people, and she and Natalie just were like glue. So thank you, Natalie.
Thank you, Scott.
So
Thank
much.
you so much.
Thank you for who you are in the
And
world.
Omar Shah, thank you ever so much. It's always very beautiful.
Omar Shah is, God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you to our Global Peace Tribe audience, Sylvia,
Yes, thank you.
Bonnie, everybody who's with us, Andrew. Have a beautiful, beautiful sacred Sunday. Remember, we can always make any moment sacred by choosing to see the divinity. And we'll see you all next Wednesday night for the Awakening World. Good night, everybody, and thanks again.
Good night.
Thank you, Amushar.